Street out one you know a little bit about. Tough to.
Could we take roll, please?
Giff,
Here.
Weiss,
Here.
Davis, Cheney,
Here.
Eckley,
Here.
Huddleston,
Here.
Bernack,
Here.
Preston,
Here.
Korth,
Here.
Highgardner, Whitfield. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, this is a public meeting which is subject to the Nebraska Open Meetings Act. A current copy of that law and the rules and guidelines for this meeting are posted on the north wall of this room and are posted online at the Sarpy County website under the Planning Commission page. This evening, we have with Sarpy County, we have Jason Kubicek, Donna Lynham, Kelly Jack, Don Simon, Nicole Spitzenberger, Kayla Hathcote, and Scott McAleer. Would someone care to make a motion on the January 18th minutes?
I move to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
So we have a motion by Korth, a second by Ackley. Please vote.
Seven yeas, motion carries.
Thank you. This evening on the regular agenda, during our regular agenda, I will introduce each case and then staff will present each detailed application on the agenda and provide a recommended action. After staff has presented a case, I'll open the public hearing process. All individuals who provide testimony shall state their name prior to any testimony. 5 minutes are allowed for the applicant or representative of the applicant. A portion of this time may be reserved for other representatives of the applicant. 5 minutes are allowed for a representative of any opponent, if any. 2 minutes are then allowed for any other individuals wishing to speak on the proposed action. After this public testimony, I shall close the public hearing process. The proposed matter may be debated and discussed amongst members of the Planning Commission. Commissioners may question any person without the requirement of rebuttal. There's no time limit for this discussion. Following the Planning Commission's discussion of the case, I shall ask the Commission what action they wish to take. A recommendation for action from a Planning Commissioner can be to approve with changes, to disapprove, or to table. Following acceptance of a motion in a second, I will call for a vote of the Commission. Commissioners should vote when called upon. This evening, agenda item number 1 is Mike Sotak, Robert J Foral et al., and Douglas and Michelle Cook have submitted applications for consideration of a preliminary plat and a final plat.
Okay, good evening, Commissioners. All applications were posted and advertised according to the Nebraska Open Meetings Act. The requested action of this application is to approve a preliminary and final plat for a subdivision to be known as Outlots 1 through 5, Bojanski Edition. The general location of the proposal is south of La Plat Road on Bojanski Drive, and the approximate size is 0.7 acres. The existing zoning is RD50, two-family residential, and the existing future land use is low to medium density residential. The applicant has stated they will be using the outlots to construct outbuildings for storage, which is an allowed use for outlots in the Christ Hanson's and Betty Lakes communities. Proposed outlot 4 and 5 will be accessible from Bojanski Drive. Proposed outlots 1, 2, and 3 will be accessible via a portion of current outlot 70, which is being dedicated as right-of-way. That is right here where it says alley. Sarpy County Public Works will not be held responsible for the maintenance of the proposed dedicated right-of-way. Sarpy County GIS has requested a street sign be installed to identify each outlot address, and each garage should have a sign with the address number for purposes of identification for emergency services. Further detail on that will be included in a development agreement between the county and the applicants. Residential dwellings and septic systems are barred, but water and electricity to garages are allowed. The configuration of the outlots does not allow for a full 20-foot landscape buffer as typically required. Additionally, Bojanski Drive is a lightly traveled local road, so screening these outlots with plant material could cut off sight lines for safe entering and exiting onto Bojanski Drive. Therefore, no outlot is being platted with a landscape buffer. Portions of the subject property are located in the floodplain. Any development or man-made improvements in the floodplain must comply with all applicable requirements of the floodplain district in the Sarpy County zoning regulations. Staff recommends approval of a preliminary and final plat of the subdivision to be known as outlots 1 through 5, inclusive Bojanski Edition, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, as the proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.
Thank you. Any questions for staff at this time? With that, I'd like to open the public hearing and ask if a representative of the applicant would like to speak.
Good evening, everybody. Mike Sotak, 1907 Woodbridge Circle, Papillion, Nebraska. I think Jason covered everything, but I'd be happy to answer any questions about what we have planned down there. But I think he covered it, looking at subdividing it and 3 people putting up new metal outbuildings there. And then 2 of them are just adding on to existing lots, getting a little extra space, a little green space in the back of their lots.
Any questions for Mr. Sotak at this time? No? Is there anyone else who would care to speak to this matter from the public? Seeing none, I'd like to close the public hearing and would ask, as we consider these, I believe motions need to be made separately for the preliminary plat and then the final plat.
Well, if there's no comments or discussion, I'd be prepared to make a motion.
Okay.
Hearing none, I'd recommend that we approve the preliminary plat of the subdivision be known as outlots 1 through 5, inclusive Bojanski Edition, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, as the proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations.
Second.
We have a motion by Ackley, a second by Korth. Any other discussion before we vote? Seeing none, please vote.
Eight votes for, motion carries.
Okay, I'd also like to make recommendation of the final plat for the subdivision to be known as Outlots 1 through 5 inclusive, Bojanski addition, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, as that proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations.
Second.
We have a motion by Ackley, a second by Korth. Please vote.
Eight votes for, motion carries.
Thank you. Agenda item number 2 this evening is Watermark Investment LLC, care of Richard Hawks, has submitted an application for consideration of a special use permit.
Good evening. Just want to upfront address the Richard Hawks name on there. That was on the application initially. He's a member of the engineering firm that helped the Watermark investment. So Watermark investment is actually the applicant. So we made the correction, but we had already advertised it. So we needed to include Richard Hawks on there. So that's the reason for that, just to kind of make that nexus for that. The requested action of this application is to approve a special use permit in the general manufacturing zoning district to allow contractors, offices, and yards. The subject property is generally located southeast of 156th and Chandler Road and commonly addressed as 15353 Chandler Road. Most of the site has an aging concrete surface, and the west end is screened from the adjacent street with large concrete blocks. 2 existing structures on the site were previously used as concrete batch plant and an office. The existing zoning designations are general manufacturing, floodplain zoning districts, and the existing future land use is light industrial. So all uses in the general manufacturing zoning district are required to attain a special use permit. So Watts Electric intends to use the site for their company's base operation in the area. So just to make sure that's clear, in the general manufacturing zoning district, that's the only zoning district that requires all special use permits. So everything in that area is expected to have a special use permit. So the site currently has 4 access points as shown on the site plan. The west access is gated. Only one access point aligns with the existing access points on the north side of Chandler Road. So let me get the... Okay. So there's the gated access right there. Another access point here and one there as well. Or two in this for this office building. So also mentioned that there are 2 buildings there, 15353 and 15315. Just to clarify ahead of time here, because I'll be referring to it, this is the batch plant, the former batch plant, and this is the offices. The business hours are Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Noise levels from activities are not expected to increase over normal roadway levels. Future plans include shrubs, sod, and sprinklers along the front to Chandler Road as a buffer to traffic and beautification of the area. So Area A on the attached site plan and west of the 15353 building will be used primarily for storage of vehicles, trailers, equipment, and materials. Area B on the attached site plan will be primarily used for drive access and parking for both buildings. Electrical is provided by OPPD. Private septic is currently the means of wastewater for the 15353 building, and the 15315 building does have a connection to Omaha Wastewater, City of Omaha Wastewater Service Area. So any Additional sewer connection fees will be applicable at the time of building permit. There are future plans for that, but sewer connection fees we're currently in the process of determining those. Portions of the subject property are located in the floodplain. Any development of man-made improvements in the floodplain must comply with all applicable requirements of the floodplain district in the Sarpy County zoning regulations. So staff recommends approval of the special use permit to allow contractors, offices, and yards in the general manufacturing floodplain district in accordance with the operational plan submitted as the request is in compliance with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and zoning regulations. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.
Any questions for staff at this time? With that, I'd like to open the public hearing and would ask if there's a representative of the applicant that would like to speak.
I'm Dave Watts with Watts Electric. We purchased this property from Lyman Ritchie. I know there's been some complaints about dust and debris before. We've taken out the cement silos, cleaning it up, trying to dress it up. We have plans to, as Justin was saying, put in a permanent sewer system to serve the buildings. So right now we're trying to get that building cleaned up and closed in so it's usable. So any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else care to speak to this matter? Seeing none, I'd like to close the public hearing and would ask the commission if anyone would care to make a motion or if you have any other questions or discussion.
So a question for staff, as long as they continue to use just the buildings as is, they can continue with the septic. It's only if they make improvements and they have to bring it up to modern standards and hook into the sewer.
Yeah, the current improvements that are proposed don't require any additional septic or any additional connection. Usually, when the septic would fail, then we would not allow them to get a new septic system in. We would ask them to connect. So yeah.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yep, thank you.
Well, if there's no other comments, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve a special use permit to allow contractors' offices in a yard in the IGM/FP General Manufacturing Floodplain District in accordance with the operational plan submitted, as the request is in compliance with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and zoning regulations.
Second, Preston.
So we have a motion by Giff, a second by Preston. Please vote.
Eight votes for, motion carries.
Thank you. Agenda item 3, we have Ryan and Vanessa Steele submitted an application for consideration of a special use permit, and they have requested that this item be tabled until our March 15th, 2022 meeting.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I move that we table the application by Ryan and Vanessa Steele to the March 15th, 2022 meeting.
Second.
So we have a motion by Korth, a second by Ackley. Please vote.
Eight votes for, motion carries.
Agenda item 4 is the election of officers. We have 2 officers, chairman and vice chairman. Nomination shall be made by a motion and a second. If only one nominee, we may vote via roll call or electronic vote. If there are more than one nominee, the vote shall be written by paper ballot. So the first office is chairman.
Charlie, are you term limited, or would you like to continue to serve?
I'd be willing to do it for this year.
Okay, I would nominate you for another year as chair.
Second.
Is that you, Deanna?
That's me, second.
So we have a motion by Ackley and a second by Korth,
Usually,
and we're done.
we just all in favor and
Okay. The next officer is vice chairman.
Wait, did we need to vote?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
And, yeah, if you want to.
We need to vote on you, sir.
Okay.
Aye.
All
we
in
just
favor,
take
say aye.
roll?
Yeah, well, yeah, I can. Yes. Would you like me to? On chairman for Mr. Huddleston, Ackley,
Yes.
Cheney,
Yes.
Giff,
Yes.
Huddleston, Korth,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Preston,
Yes.
Bernard.
Yes.
Motion carries.
So then the next officer is vice chairman.
Ms. Korth, are you willing to continue to serve?
I am.
I would nominate you to stay in that position.
Thank you.
Second, Preston.
So we have a motion by Ackley, a second by Preston. Can we take roll call?
Yes. Bernard,
Yes.
Preston,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Korth, Huddleston,
Yes.
Giff,
Yes.
Cheney,
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Well, that concludes our regular agenda. Next is our correspondence agenda. Does any of our commissioners have a report you'd like to make? No? Planning Department, is there anything you'd like to report on?
The sports and recreation facilities that we heard last week was the text amendment, zoning regulation text amendment, was tabled by the county board until March 1st. So it's tabled, and then they'll hear that again. Donna, is this your last? Is this it?
It's my last meeting.
Oh,
Really?
this is it. We've had a
My
couple of
last
these.
official day is March 11th,
So.
so I won't be here March 15th officially.
So she'll be sorely missed, as it goes without saying, but we've appreciated having her. I know I have for the time I've been here. It's been awesome, so couldn't have done it without her.
Oh, where?
Yeah.
I don't know, Tom and I were talking about that tonight. I got to figure out where I'm going to have drinks, so. I'll spread the word.
To be announced later.
Well,
That's all I have.
Yeah, I would just say that from my perspective, you're probably the best in this role that I have ever worked with. And we've worked in a lot of different areas, but you're like the platinum standard of people that do this. So I really appreciate the help that you've given.
Thank you. It's not going to be easy. I'm going to miss it, trust me. But Tom will keep me busy. He's going to have to keep me busy because otherwise I really will miss it. But he has big visions on traveling and doing a lot of things. So
You can always come and speak at public hearings.
I can always come and sit and make faces.
Well, enjoy. Well deserved.
Yes. Thank you.
With that, I guess we we just tabled an item for March 15th, so I guess we're going to have a March 15th meeting.
Yes, sir.
Do we know, are there a lot of other cases for March 15th? Or?
There are 2 others for sure. So we'll have at least 2. Yeah, so we'll have something in March. I don't know that it'll be super lengthy though. So
Okay.
That's good.
Well, with that, I guess we can adjourn the meeting.
sounds good.
Yes.